just the way it goes. Feels like I waited so long for this. I wonder if it shows. Head underwater, now I can't breathe. It never felt so good. 'Cause I can feel it coming over me. I wouldn't stop it if I could. Will I take over? Yeah. You know you can't deny. Will I take over? Yeah. 'Cause something's here tonight. Give me a reason. I gotta know. Do you feel it too? Can't you see me here on overload? And this time I blame you. Looking out for you to hold my hand. It feels like I could fall. Now love me right like
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Josh YouTube channel. Today, it's my first game preview in a very, very long time. I think the last preview I did was the Manchester City Chelsea FA Cup semi-final, so quite a long time ago. And just before I introduce my beautiful guest, I've got some breaking news that literally just broke through as I was doing that intro. That Eddie Howe has tested positive for COVID-19 and will miss the game against Brentford tomorrow in the dugout. So Eddie Howe. He was one of the biggest managerial debut against Brentford. Will not be in the dugout, and Jason Tyndall will be taking charge of the game. So Newcastle, poor little Newcastle. Hello, Yeti boy. Thank you very much for coming in. So to represent the Leicester quarter, he's about 50% right now, but he's here. He's dedicated, and he's here to talk some shit about Ben Chilwell, which people are entitled to their opinions, but it doesn't mean I have to agree with it. I've got Anthony from Beyond the 90, and thank you so much for coming on. I wouldn't say how you're doing, but I know how you're doing. But do you want to tell the viewers how amazing you feel?
I feel like I'm ready for the time of my life. I definitely am not steaming hungover and was out till about 3 o'clock this morning. That definitely wasn't the case, and I'm definitely on top form, ready to talk about Leicester against Chelsea.
Well, so I do appreciate you coming. Do appreciate you coming. So, if anybody's interested in checking out Dan's channel, all links are in the description below. If you want to subscribe to this man, he's not hungover in every single video, I promise. And there's a couple of match day vlogs up and all out there, so to check him out. So all links are in the description. And he talks a lot of rubbish on Twitter too, which you can't really complain about that. So no, and obviously I had you on before the season began. We talked about preseason expectations and about Leicester signs and all. Looking in before we get into the Chelsea, I'm looking 11 games into the league. Obviously, you're currently 12th in the league, 4 wins, 3 draws, 4 losses, and you've only lost 1 game out of your last 5. Do you think Leicester have started a season particularly slowly? I know there's been some questionable performances. You've scraped a couple of results for. 3 of those draws were quite lucky ones, but you've had some really good performances against Manchester United, for example. Are you surprised to where do you think you're a bit lower than you expected, or do you think maybe this is where you expected Leicester to be?
It's been a poor start to a season, and performance-wise, there's been a lot where you think this just isn't what you come to expect of a Leicester team under Brendan Rodgers. But at the same time, I don't know many teams who would be performing at that level if you take away their best 2 centre-backs, their starting left-back, their best midfielder, and then also having a striker who's carrying a knock. So it's been a difficult start to the season, but then at the same time, with the players that we've had out, it was always going to be an uphill task. But that doesn't equate to how difficult it has been.
That's fair enough. Hi Jade. Hi Anton, Josh. Thank you very much for coming in, Jade. Yeah, I think obviously you've made some good signs, but I think it has been a bit of a slow start. I think you've missed Johnny Evans quite a lot, haven't you? I know he's been out. I know he's been out for a good couple of months, and I think you've missed him quite a lot. And Brendan Rodgers, at least from what I've seen, he has been chopping and changing the formation. It's been a back 3, a back 4, back 3, a back 4. He's been changing the centre back partnerships a lot. I know he tried 2 up front, he tried 1 up top. Do you think Rodgers is still trying to figure out his best 11 with just what he's got? I know your last Premier League game you played against, was it Leeds? you played, or I can't
Yeah,
remember if it was Leeds or not. It was
Leeds,
Leeds.
yeah.
You changed to a 4-3-3. Ditching the three at the back. Do you think he's still maybe trying to figure out his best 11?
Maybe, but I think the thing is, everyone fit. He knows his best 11, but on a week by week basis, we seem to be like losing a player, getting a player back, losing a player, getting a player back. So it's almost like a juggling act to try and put out the strongest 11, which is why I think there has been as much chopping and changing as there has.
Fair enough. So, in terms of this game, so obviously, this game's tomorrow at 12:30. This game's on BT Sport. If anybody in the UK is interested in watching it via BT, I'll unfortunately be listening to the Chelsea radio because I'll be going to my local game. It's a long ass trip I'm taking tomorrow, so I'll be on listening to the radio, but I will obviously be watching this game back. Especially match of the day. Only if we win, of course. I refuse to watch Chelsea match of the day if we lose. How do you feel about this game now? Is there any skepticism in terms of international breaks that's been had? It's a 12:30 kickoff. Very little time for Brendan Rodgers or even Thomas Tuchel to do anything on the pitch. Do you think that this could be a very open game, or do you see this being a very sketchy game where it's just two teams that aren't very well prepared for this game, and early kickoff doesn't particularly help that either?
Early kickoffs are just a rubbish time for a football game. Like, even though it's just down the road from me and stuff, it's a home game and stuff, which it's just a rubbish time to watch a football game, if I'm honest. But this is always we could play you at any point of the year, so we're always going to be the underdogs in the game against Chelsea. I think that the fact that both teams have had less time to prepare probably helps us slightly more than you. But it's one of those, if we get stuck into you from the first minute, I don't know how much you're going to fancy it. But likewise, if you get an early goal, it could be a long, long afternoon for us.
That's how I see it, because I don't know. I don't think Thomas Tuchel. I don't actually think Thomas Tuchel did a press conference, or if he did, I haven't actually seen it yet. Because I don't think Chelsea have. I don't think Thiago Silva is going to be available because he's coming back from obviously South America, which I think the same with United and Fred. So Chelsea are missing Thiago Silva. I know Timo Werner and Lukaku have question marks over them. And then obviously, like Jorginho, who played quite a lot during the international break, Kovacic played quite a bit. So there's a lot of question marks for me over who's going to be filming for Chelsea and who's going to be particularly fit enough. Do you think Chelsea's performances haven't been particularly fantastic? I'll be honest. We've scraped by in some wins where we've had some of our fullbacks have been scoring screamers, or we've edged a goal somewhere. Chelsea have been playing Chelsea top of the league. They've unbeaten in the last 5 games, but the performances haven't particularly been there. Do you see Leicester maybe being able to take the game to Chelsea and making Chelsea feel uncomfortable, or do you see Chelsea, maybe keeping possession and Brendan Rodgers trying to hit on the counter attack a bit more?
I think it will be a balance of both, because it won't be like proper classic Leicester of just four banks of 4-4-2 and like ball over the top to Vardy counter attack. We haven't played like that for a long, long time. I'd say probably Craig Shakespeare days. We haven't looked to that extent of counter attacking, but I do think that you'll see players like Vardy, like Barnes, like Iheanacho, who will try and be very quick in transition and get players like Aspilicueta, like Thiago Silva, if they play, with turning their back to goal. Because I think if we are quick in transition, we can cause you a lot of issues.
Just for your new players, obviously, Yuri Tielemans got injured there with Belgium on international duty. I think this is one reason why you hate international duty, literally losing one of your probably your top 2 key best players, your best midfielder, or maybe second best midfielder behind Indeed. I don't know how Leicester rank them, but it sure that's a kick in the teeth flow, isn't it, when he gets injured playing for us? And he played a game that really meant nothing to Belgium either, because Belgium already qualified against Wales before they played Wales.
Yeah, it's the same for everyone though. Like, we've been crying out for Tielemans to have a break for ages. Unfortunately, he's now having the wrong sort of break. But it's the same for everyone across the league. I'm not going to sit here and act like a victim, but like a lot of players have gone away for international duty and then have come back injured. It's not just Leicester.
That's thankfully Chelsea didn't suffer anything, but we don't think we deserve to have any more out. So just one more question before I ask you about your starting lineup. It's a question that I've been kind of intrigued to ask Leicester fans. Obviously, there's been a lot of question marks over Brendan Rodgers and Manchester United, and now I don't know how true these reports are. I kind of only really take reports off, maybe 3 or 4 certain particular journalists. One of them being for Bitsoula and a couple of Manchester United ones on the Athletic. I haven't seen anyone really reliable talk about Brendan Rodgers to Manchester United. What's the feeling around Leicester? Does anyone think there's any concrete to Brendan Rodgers, or is this just a genuine kind of fake news?
He flat out called bullshit on it during his press conference. He just called it fake news, so disrespectful for the fact that he's in Leicester job as it is, and said that it's all nonsense. He's Leicester City manager, and it's all fake news, but it's all part of today's game. That there will be stories being written. So he also very smugly said that Man United already have a brilliant manager, which categorically, let's be honest, is a lie. But let's hope this brilliant manager stays for
completely. Actually agree. I just have to go and get my dinner from downstairs before my mum kills me. So while I do that, would you tell my viewers and Rita what your starting 11 is going to be for the game against Chelsea? I'll let you be back in 2 seconds while you name your 11. Go ahead.
Okay, cool. Show takeovers here. Let's go. So, no, starting 11. I haven't even thought about this yet. I'm going to be honest. So this is a little bit sort of unprepared because I was going to do my notes for my preview after this. But in goal, it would be Schmeichel. So I'm guessing it will be 3-5-2 because against the tougher teams, we seem to go 3 at the back, particularly with the way Chelsea play as well, with their wing backs both pushing so far up the pitch. You almost want to match them with that. So 3-5-2, Schmeichel in goal, right wing back Ricardo, left wing back Castagna, and Marty. I'd love a Marty to score tomorrow, like just for shithousery that would be absolutely brilliant. Then Johnny Evans and Siunchu. Then into midfield, have Samore and Ndidi. It'd be brilliant to have Ndidi back. I think this is the kind of game where you like really notice not having him. That like defensive output that you get from him, that'll be crucial tomorrow. So a bit more of a defensive midfield tomorrow. Not a lot of people have said about Dewsbury Hall. I really like Dewsbury Hall as a player, but I think playing against Chelsea is one step too far for like a start. Maybe if he'd had a few games running the team, then you bring in a Dewsbury Hall. But for it to be that first start in the Premier League, probably a little bit too soon. But then in that number 10 role, we need this man to have a big game tomorrow, which does worry me slightly because we need that more progressive player. That's James Maddison. And I think without Tielemans, I think Maddison has to have a big game because we don't have that. Like obviously with Tielemans, we've got that progression from deep, but without him on the pitch, we've got to have Maddison there who's able to create for the front two of Iheanacho and Jamie Vardy. So there you go, Josh. I've basically made myself comfortable, made myself at home, and now this is Ant's channel too.
I really appreciate you doing that because I knew my dinner was going to be called for during the stream, so I was just picking the right time to go and get it. That was the perfect time. So in terms of what my starting lineup for Chelsea would be, Image of Marty gets the last minute with Chelsea. They will. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. So in terms of Chelsea's lineup, so I was just doing a bit of research there, double checking on who on who Chelsea are. So Kovacic and Romelu Lukaku are going to be out for the game. Pulisic is fine. Thiago Silva is going to be out with the game. With Thiago Silva is out because of travel, as I suspected. So Chelsea are without three players tomorrow. So my lineup would be Edouard Mendy in goal, currently the best goalkeeper in the Premier League in terms of form. Just don't come at me, Manchester United. He's doing better in the head. Don't at me. Right centre back would be Azpilicueta. The middle centre back would be Christensen, and the left centre back would be Antonio Rudiger. Left wing back, Ben Chilwell. Not Mark Alonso. No, not Marcus Alonso. Not at all. Ben Chilwell. Middle two then would be N'Golo Kante and Jorginho. Right wing back would be Reece James, and then my front three. Front three is a bit of a difficult one, but I think I'd go with Callum Hudson-Odoi. He was in good form before the international break. Kai Havertz as the false nine / striker, and then Mason Mount joining him. So, based on that starting lineup, which maybe unless Azpilicueta maybe plays wing back and then maybe Chilwell at centre back, that will probably be what the Chelsea team is. Maybe Loftus-Cheek will be in there rather than Hudson-Odoi, but I would say 9 out of those 11 players do start that game. Do you think would you fancy come up against that team?
The thing is, whatever team you put out, it's going to be full of like big money signings and like top class players and stuff. So, like, it's a weakened Chelsea team, and I know the media has been shoving that down our throats for the last couple of days. But at the same time, it's a weakened Chelsea team against a weakened Leicester team. So, it's a good time to play Chelsea, but it's also a good time to play Leicester, if we're being honest. So, I do fancy someone like fancy ourselves on that left hand side. Not just because it is Chilwell, but I've seen Vardy running the channels against how much Vardy runs the channels on the left-hand side. I really do think he could cause some problems within that back sort of 3/5 system.
Rudiger is quite a PSC centre back. He can't keep up with Vardy as such, but he at least Vardy wouldn't get a ton of miles off him. If you get me.
No, but the thing is, with our front two, it's not just about Vardy. It's about if Vardy runs that left-hand channel and like the ball's played in behind and stuff, or even if he makes that run, it's about opening up the space for Iheanacho, for Maddison, for say if Castagne or Ricardo is overlapping. It's about that space. I want to see you do a good challenge on Chilwell. Mate, I can do it. I don't even care if the full-time whistle's blown. Just straight into it.
In terms of let's do so. I said one thing we're going to do. It's what we're going to try to do for my previous one. Is do a combined 11 because this is where it's always disagreement and fun. We'll go for a 4-3-3 because actually no, we'll go for a back three because both teams have been playing. You've been playing a back three a fair amount, so we'll go 3-4-3. I think that's a fair formation. So, are you saying for goal, Kasper Schmeichel or Erdvar Mendy? I'm going Mendy.
I'll go Mendy as well. I love Schmeichel, but he's having a really, really difficult season so far this year. Overall, I still would say Schmeichel, but in terms of form, I think Mendy's right up there with the best keepers in Europe at the moment.
I don't give that. You take the words out of my mouth. Left centre back. I don't know. I want to say Rudiger, but Rudiger has been. He's been. You agree? Because is there no one for Leicester? Because I think Rudiger's been up and down this year. He isn't reaching the levels that he did last year. He's been more inconsistent this year. But is there no one for Leicester you think could test?
Siunchu's been very much up and down as well. Unfortunately, there's been more downs than there has ups.
Well, I'll take Rudiger. Right, middle centre back. Even though he's not played that much, I'm going to say Johnny Evans. Yeah, I know he's not playing that much this season, but I'm in complete agreement. I'm Northern Irish, Of course, I have no issue putting Johnny Evans in it. He can just say he had a masterclass against Italy there in that last European qualifier. He played out of his skin. I bloody love the guy. Right, centre back. Now this chops and changes for us.
Daniel Amati. Thank you.
Nah, I'm gonna say Azpilicueta.
Daniel Amati's been our best centre back this season. I mean, that doesn't say a huge amount, but
I stick with Azpilicueta. Azpilicueta's actually been flawless. that's a shit for a second put it.
Like that, Daniel Amati fully has. Like he's been brilliant this year, but I'll give you Azpilicueta. I'll allow it. I will allow it.
Right wing back.
Reece James been top performance.
What about Fastergaard? From what I've seen on Twitter, he's obviously not been very good for you guys because I've not seen very good tweets from you about him.
Yeah, let's go back to right wing back. So
fair enough. That's it all. Yeah, Reece James. I think Reece James has been out of his skin so far this year.
Ricardo fully fit at the same time. You could have a genuine conversation of who's the better player, and I'd say overall Ricardo. But you can't argue with the way Reece James has been playing this year. He's been absolutely top draw.
That's one thing, I know people will obviously say their things about Frank Lampard, but Lampard's a big reason why Reece James is at the club now. So that's one thing I always appreciate Frank Lampard for. Now the middle two, this is where it gets interesting.
Wait, we're not going to do a left back.
No, but I'm going like right to left, if you get me. We're going across.
Confusing.
So the two midfielders. This is. I'm not going to put Kante in there. I don't think Kante. He doesn't play as much. He's got a bit more injury prone, and I do think he's lost a bit more of that Kante ability. I'm going to be biased. I'm going to put Jorginho in there because I think Jorginho has played really, really well this year. He's been definitely with Chelsea one of the more consistent players. Would you put Ndidi or Tielemans in beside? I don't. There's no other Chelsea midfielder.
I would have gone Ndidi and Tielemans, but there's not even a debate to be had with that because Tielemans is injured. So I'll go Ndidi, and I think what you said there about Jorginho, I think he's gone from one of those players who's been incredibly overrated to incredibly underrated now. I think he's absolutely brilliant for you guys, and I know it's popular to hate on him, but I think he's so crucial to the way that Tuchel's got used to playing.
No, I completely agree. I think he's just. I think first of all, when you're playing a back three, it makes it doesn't expose him as much because he's not. You don't have to rely on him as much defensively. I think when Kante plays him beside him, that also helps. So I think Jorginho does have an issue defensively. There's no denying that. But I do think the system, and also with the right midfielder beside him, it makes a big difference. And other than that,
he's such a clever player. He's such a clever player. But him and Fabregas, there's that similarities. They're not sort of. I know they're very different players, but at the same time, they've got that similarity of being so intelligent of being able to find exactly where the pass will be. Not the most physical and strong players in the world, but they'll still leave a bit on you if they're going to when they're getting stuck into you.
And in terms of left wing back,
don't swear at me.
Hello, Anchor. Thanks so much for coming in. So you're in a sense you're kind of copying Ant's name, except if it's two C's rather than two S's. So
Stanya.
I don't think I could disagree. Joel's been playing well, but he did not start the league. He did not start the season. It was Marcus Alonso, and I do still feel like Joel can still do a bit more. I still think his attacking. Oh, pardon me. I still think his attacking. Yes, I think it can be, but he has scored goals. I know that's weird because I think he scored 3 straight goals in 3 straight games. But I still think like his crossing and his ability in the link-up play could be better. So I do agree with Castagna. So the two wingers, Adelan Lookman, has he impressed you? Harvey Barnes,
They've both impressed me, but because of the result of the system we've played, neither of them have played a huge amount because we don't really play with wingers. We play with the 2 strikers and then Maddison slightly further back.
That's fair enough. And I take it, are you going to take it's going to be Vardy over Lukaku for sure because Lukaku has, I think he's had 6 or 7 games now without a goal for Romelu.
He's not even fit though, is he? So
yeah, he's not. I don't even think he'd be the striker. I think Vardy deserves to be the striker regardless if Lukaku is fit or not. So I can absolutely agree. I think he gets so much like Luke Thomas over him. Really, wow, the youngster is good, but Ben's made a. No, he didn't pick. He picked Castagna.
Pick Castagna, but I would also pick Luke Thomas over him.
And also, Anthony hates Chilwell. He's a Leicester fan. All Leicester fans don't like what Chilwell after what he did. So don't look too much. I'm not giving Chilwell any hate. He is on a roll and he has been playing well. I would start Hudson-Odoi. I get personally. I think as was my predicted. I'll read out my predicted lineup for you very quickly before we continue on. It was Mendy, Rudiger, Christensen, Azpilicueta, Reece James, Jorginho, Kante, Chilwell, Kai Havertz, Callum Hudson-Odoi, and Mason Mount. That was what my team is because Romelu Lukaku still like Kovacic is still, and Thiago Silva is likely not going to be fully like mentally ready because he was coming back from from Brazil. So that was what my lineup was. I think that's probably the best lineup. Well, maybe Loftus Cheek in there in the front three, but I think for me that front three, me too, bro. Sure, he does. I think before the international, he was getting a bit of form. See, now that he was getting a bit more games on that left hand side in the front three, I feel like he was really starting to get a bit of form going. So I think he deserves to start. Pulisic, I don't know if these reports are true, but he's unhappy at Chelsea. But if they are, then I don't see why Hudson-Odoi shouldn't start. So my last question to you, Anthony, is obviously the very simple question. What is your prediction then? Are you hopeful for Leicester win? Are you going for a draw? What do you think?
Why has this question got to come? I was hoping you were going to avoid this one. I've gone 2-1. I don't sound confident with it. But if you can't have hope with your team, but your team's going to win, we might as well pack in now and give it up. But I do think I've seen a lot of like Chelsea fans saying that they think they're going to batter us 4-5-0. I don't think it'll be anything like that. I think it will be a close game, whichever way it goes.
For me, I'm going to actually say it's going to be a draw, 1-1. I think for me personally, I just see a big issue with early kickoff. Chelsea are still missing a few key players, and like Jorginho, Jorginho played a lot of international football. I think the front three for me is still because it's a mixture front three. Mason Mount. It's Mason Mount's first game in a few weeks. Kai Havertz played a bit during the international week. Hudson-Odoi should be fine. I just think it's just gonna be a very jaded, careful game for Chelsea. I don't think Chelsea. I don't want to say we're going to play defensive and such, and we're going to park the bus, but I don't think we're going to go out full on guns blazing, everything at Leicester. I think we'll go there with a cautious mentality, just to be a bit extra careful. And I think it's going to show. These early kickoffs, especially after international break, don't really have a particularly good record, and that's why I feel like it's going to be a 1-each. Yeah, boy, obviously, I can tell you just like that. You just hate Chilwell on goal.
I don't think you're going to find many Leicester fans who've got much nice to say about him, to be honest.
What about Neil? He's nice about everything.
I think you might even find Neil's not the biggest fan of him. My thing is, you don't disrespect the club that gives you a professional debut and gives you a start and do nothing but slag them off. And whilst you're there, also down tools for them. That's why everyone says, "Oh, Leicester fans just hate ex-players." That's not true. A lot of Leicester fans still love Drinkwater, still love Kante, still love Mahrez. It's just the disrespect Chilwell shown to the club that gave him basically his career.
That's absolutely that's fair enough. He's had a fine Chelsea career so far, but obviously I think you retweeted that video of the Chelsea fans celebrating in the FA Cup final, and then VAR rolled it off, and I can tell you were absolutely loving life. Just like, this is the best video ever. So before we wrap things up, have you got anything? First of all, obviously, I'm going to be on your channel. Or is that going to be live or is that pre-recorded?
Well, it'll be live, mate, in exactly an hour from now.
Well, if anybody wants to see the flip side of me talking about Chelsea, then I'll be live on this channel for the reverse thing of the preview. So if anybody's interested in watching that, then that's over there. Image how Leicester fans would behave towards it if he decided. I don't.
The thing is, there's not much difference between the two, between what Chilwell did and what Courtois did, apart from Chilwell started going around the training ground from about January onwards, boasting about the fact he was leaving and the fact that he down tools. It's it's just it's just disrespectful, which is why when it just leaves us proper sour taste in the mouth, and then. To before the FA Cup final, saying how much he wants to beat Leicester and it's the biggest game of his career and all of that. Bear in mind, he's got the Champions League final a week later, saying how much more beating his old club's important to him than winning the Champions League. It's like, come off it, mate.
Yeah, that's fair enough. So I'll be on Lance channel in an hour's time for the verse protection. All his links are in the description below. Have you got any other words of wisdom you'd like to say to anyone, Ant? Anything that's going to make people's day better? Any motivational words, or is it just don't get hangover?
Yeah, I don't know. Cheers for having me.
There we go. Yeah, just don't get hungover and try and do a YouTube the next day. That's the best advice I can give you. So thank you very much, everyone, for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of your night. And if you do go over to Jan's channel in an hour's time, I will see you there. And if not, enjoy this weekend's fixture and obviously up to Chelsea.
Why do you let us hurt one another just for the dollar? Did you lose your heart in the darkness deep in your pocket? No, I don't care of the price I pay. I don't wanna spend my life that way.